Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone, I think I know just about everybody in the room. I'm Jeff Meyer. I'm the Elgin Township Republican Chairman. I'm here tonight, and I'm honored to be here tonight to introduce and help my friend Alan Skillicorn kick off his race for Illinois House of Representatives. Alan. He certainly needs no introduction to the people in this room, but Alan is one of those people who has been there working for all of us for at least the last 6-7 years here in Kane County, and I'm glad to see he's taking the challenge here to step up, run for this seat. We have an excellent opportunity to put a real conservative reformer into office in this seat, and Alan is that man, and he needs our help, and I'm glad you're all here to join me as we help him kick off the campaign and start the real hard work. There are some other people here this evening that I want to introduce. Dr. Bob Tabali, who's running for Kane County Coroner. County Board Member Doug Shefflow is here. Doug. Toby Shaw, an Elgin City Councilman. Terry Hunt, our incumbent Kane County Auditor, and the guy who's going to get reelected to that job. Tom Hartwell, is he floating around here? He'll be here momentarily. All right. He's our Kane County Circuit Court Clerk and also the Kane County Republican Chairman, the guy who tries to keep us all at peace with each other. It's going to be a little more difficult here in the next couple months. And the most important person in the room, Heather Skillicorn. I have a note here that she is the best wife ever. Best wife ever. So, yes. Heather, thank you for sharing Alan with us and letting him take this challenge on. This is, I know from personal experience, a difficult experience for a family, and I know that it's a sacrifice for you as much as it is for him. But we appreciate you letting him take this challenge up and run for this office. We need him in Springfield desperately. Thank you for your sacrifice. And now, I get the privilege now of introducing our keynote speaker for the evening, Pat Hughes. Pat Hughes, where are you at? There he is. You probably all remember Pat. Pat was the conservative who tried to run for U.S. Senate a couple years ago against a guy named Mark Kirk. Who? Yeah, right. Pat is currently with the Illinois Liberty PAC and also a speaker with the Illinois Opportunity Project and a guy who is doing fantastic work at electing good conservatives in districts all across the state and trying to help us turn our leadership in Springfield around so that we have an opportunity to compete for controlling public policy and not just taking the table scraps from Mike Madigan. Pat, if you would, please come on up and say some more intelligent things than I am.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you all for being here for Alan. Who wants Alan to be our next state representative for this area right here? You know, I love, of all the things that I get to do in public policy and in politics, this is my favorite thing that I get to do. And the reason is, for the first time in a long time in Illinois, there is a real opportunity to put different people into office that'll change the direction of our state permanently. And that started with the election of Governor Ronner. So a round of applause for someone, the governor, who was willing to step out of what was an enormously successful personal life to put his life on the line, run and win the governorship to make some of this stuff possible. So in absentia, Governor Ronner, thank you very much for what you've done. The little secret that the Democrats don't want you to know is that in the last election, there were 30 legislative seats, 20 in the Illinois House and 10 in the Illinois Senate, that a Democrat won, some by very, very narrow margins. But that Governor Ronner carried and beat Governor Quinn. 30, 20 in the House, 10 in the Senate. And that gives us a market opportunity to change the nature of the caucuses, to give the governor the legislative support that he needs down in Springfield to help pass the elements of the turnaround agenda, like pension reform, like property tax freeze, like term limits, like all the things that we know and understand in a free market economy will help turn our state around. And so when we get past March and we move towards November, we're going to put a lot of our effort at Illinois Liberty PAC, which is who I'm here on behalf tonight, to make sure that we get as many of those 20 in the House and 10 in the Senate candidates across the finish line and send them down to Springfield to turn the state around and weaken and hopefully ultimately take away Mike Madigan's grip on the state. But before we do that, we have something really, really important to do. And that is to get Alan elected. A lot of folks in our business do not like to get involved in a primary fight, right? We're all supposed to be one party. I'm not going to take a position. Whoever, fight amongst yourselves. Whoever wins, that's who I'm going to support. Well, at Liberty PAC, and Liberty PAC was started by myself and Dan Proft, who I think you all know, and John Tillman, who in his professional life is CEO of the Illinois Policy Institute. Our view was that the Republican caucus was to blame in some measure for how we got ourselves in this problem. I mean, as you guys know, I'm not afraid of a primary. I ran in a primary. That's how I got my political start, by going against a Republican that I frankly thought wasn't Republican enough for our party and for our state. And frankly, and Mark, where's Mark? There's Mark Cavers. Everybody a round of applause for Mark Cavers. He didn't think I would say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. We need better representation in this district than we've had from the Republican side here. This is a Republican seat, and when you have a Republican seat, you need someone who is principled, who has character, who has values, who's going to go down to Springfield and exercise those values, who's lived his life with his wife, with his supporters, who's not going to be changed or altered by what goes on in Springfield, that isn't going to be moved by buses of lobbyists or by the pressure of colleagues, someone who's willing to stand up not for politics, but for the people of his district. And there are 4 people in this race, and I hope somehow they get to hear this. Of those 4 people, only one person, only one, is the person that is going to be able to do that, and that's Alan. Yeah. So in large measure, what Illinois Liberty PAC is designed to do, and what we endeavor to do in our private lives, is to make our Republican Party better, to have that party advance free market principles so that we can all grow economically and prosper and live freely. And then once we're done doing that and getting our caucus straight, come around March into November, then we'll go take on and beat the Democrats. And that's a real important part of this entire process. So once we get Alan elected, I'm going to be coming back here to see all of you folks, because frankly, when he wins that primary, which he's going to work hard and win in November, we're going to need some additional help on some of these races. And I'm going to be back here asking you guys for that kind of help as we go forward in trying to win the rest of these races. Every time somebody gives up part of their private life, their faith life, their family life, the things they like to do to represent you publicly, it's an enormous endeavor. I had the honor of doing it for 6 months for myself, and then frankly I did it for about 9 months on behalf of the senator because it was the right thing to do, because Alexi Janelius was not good for us. And it's an incredible undertaking. It's something that if you haven't done it, it's something to behold. It's a willingness to really fight for the things that you believe in. And you guys are all so very lucky that the landscape in your district, in this town, in this community is changing, and that there is someone who is willing to do that. And because he's willing to do it, because he's the right person at the right time in our state, in a time in our state we can really get this done in 16 and then in 18 and then beyond, the Illinois Liberty PAC is going to provide Alan with as much support as we possibly can. So what does that mean? That means material support, advice, counsel, help with whatever work he needs, help on the ground. Mark Cavers and Matt Bessler, who volunteer for the organization, do a tremendous job with that help. What else does it mean? It means money. It means that we'll provide him the dollars, both from our PAC and from our investors who invest in the work that we do, who want to help Alan to succeed. And we're going to be here from a material support perspective, both from a work perspective and from a financial perspective. And the fact that you're all here tonight shows me that you're willing to do that too. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to support your friend, someone who's going to go down to Springfield to make your life better, to make my life better, to make our lives as a state collectively, with the other legislators, with the governor, with Leslie Munger and others, make our lives better. And I'll ask this. Be here tonight. I know you're here. Thank you for being here. Be here tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and every day after. I know it's a sacrifice, but this is the work that needs to be done for us to do the job that we need to accomplish. And for the people who aren't here tonight, that you know can be interested, that you know can get out and do help, that you know can give some money and give some support, go out and proselytize. Go out and explain to them that you have the right person at the right time. Alan is an easy sell. I know he was an easy sell on me and my partners, and he should be an easy sell for the people in the community. So go out and do everything you can to make that happen. And come March, we're going to win in this race, and come November, we're going to take the first giant step in turning this state around. Thank you so much for having me here. We will be back again and continue to support Alan and the work that you do going forward now and into the future. Thank you very much.
Tom, I saw you sneak in. Where'd he go? Oh, he's over there. Oh, we got to first introduce Joe McMahon, our incumbent state's attorney. Thank you for coming. Tom was late. We'll forgive him. So your thanks for being late is that you have to follow that act. Good luck. Come on up.
I'm Tom Hartwell. I'm the Kane County Circuit Clerk, but more importantly, I think in this situation, I am the GOP chairman here in Kane County. And we are lucky to have Alan Skillicorn running here. It is tough to follow that. Alan said, Tom, just come on, I want to give you a few, give a few words of his speech. And I'm not expecting lights and cameras and all these, so give me a moment while I get an opportunity to absorb this. The thing is, as I've moved forward here in Kane County, we've learned that teamwork can get a lot of things done. We got together this past election cycle and elected a Republican governor in what everyone said was a blue state. And the reason we did that is because we worked together. And Alan epitomizes that work. He's willing to meet people, talk to them, find out what they have to say, think thoughtfully about the issues. And then when he understands and has a grasp on that, he's ready to be the leader in order to take those issues, to speak the things that need to be spoken, to deal with to confront those who don't understand so that they can. His energy is seen already on the campaign trail. He's covered much of the district, not all of it already, personally, and he's just getting started. And for that reason, we're supporting Alan. We want to see him win, and we need to do the things we have to do. And just as was spoken in and taking up all the oxygen from me, those things we have to do. I look at our state, and I just see a basic fact. Our Constitution in the state of Illinois requires a balanced budget. It requires it. Our constitutional rights are being trampled right now in front of us because the Democrats refuse to comply. We need someone like Alan who can understand the nuances of the issue, go to Springfield along with other good Republicans and fight and have our voices heard. And that's how change is brought about. So. Thanks for the opportunity to speak, but it's really not about me. It's about Alan and the things that he can do. So, to that, Alan, you have my support, and let's go forward and make a difference.
Alan, please come on up.
I do want to briefly thank everyone here, and I also want to thank a sponsor to this event, Jedi Settles and the Settles family is a title sponsor of this event tonight, so they deserve a round of applause also. And here we are, everyone, in the midst of November. And despite Governor Rauner's willingness to compromise in exchange for much-needed reforms here in Illinois, our state is effectively just stuck, paralyzed in gridlock, bumping along in temporary budgets that question the long-term viability of our state, our debt-ridden state. Every man, woman, and child across the state, and including this room, owe over $40,000 in debt. To put that into perspective, the bankrupt and failed state of Greece owes less than $38,000 per person. What is this struggle really about? Speaker Madigan wants more. It's about Illinois can continue the trifecta of higher spending, higher taxes, and even higher debt. The governing methods which Speaker Madigan sustains his loyal politicians, lobbyists, and other political parasites are complex. But their goal is universally simple. Chicago Democrats want more of your money. More money for their higher legislative pay and lucrative pensions. More money to sustain their patronage workers. More money for a school funding formula rigged for the Chicago public schools over our own suburban school districts, like District 300, which we're in right now. Now, although we have a Republican governor that's dedicated to turning our state around, there is a veto-proof Democrat majority, both in the House and in the Senate. They are unwilling to move one iota for meaningful reform. The only way to restore compromise and bipartisan leadership is to restore the two-party system here in Illinois. Now, as a committed, and I might add effective Republican, I have been battling the Chicago Democrats for years. And that's the reason I was drawn into Mike Tryon's district 4 years ago. Now, the challenge to righting injustices and advancing the interests of the people who live in the 66th district require reaching beyond its gerrymandered boundaries. We need to restore conservative Republican leadership in the ailing suburbs suffering from Chicago Democrat rule. Our economy is starting to recover, but everyone knows that life could be so much better if Illinois was stable, not exemplifying a third world country or banana republic. The only path to restoring true economic opportunity in Illinois requires peeling back the claws of control from Speaker Madigan. Speaker Madigan has amassed vast wealth exploiting the convoluted property tax system here in Illinois. For insiders like Madison, the system works great. I'm running for the rest of us. Now, months ago, Representative Mike Tryon, a senior legislator with many valuable policy contributions to our great state, announced that he would not seek to run again. Now, this has started an avalanche of candidates seeking the Republican nomination. Well, my announcement does not come first, and it surely will not become the last. But with everyone here today, you people are the ones that are going to make this one the one worth remembering. There's a lot of talk in this 66th district about lower taxes, fiscal responsibility, and who's the real Republican. Well, I appreciate the discourse on these issues. They are near and dear to my heart. But Illinois needs more doers, not talkers. To date, all candidates, including myself, seeking this primary nomination are elected officials. Remember, history repeats itself. And I encourage everyone to scrutinize how our past governing lines up to our respective campaign promises. Talking about lower taxes is really easy. Changing the way we govern to stop the crushing burden of property taxes when you're up against dysfunctional, unfunded mandates and climbing employee costs, well, that, on the other hand, is not easy. Right here in East Dundee, since I was elected 5 years ago, we worked together. We froze the property tax levy, and we've kept it frozen. We've become a model for neighboring communities. Combined with the local economic growth, our village property taxes have dropped dramatically. Give you an example, my personal property tax bill has dropped, and it has dropped so low that East Dundee only levied $3. Who else can say that? Talking about change is easy. Getting a village board to fully embrace open and transparent government, that is not easy. Prior to my first term as trustee, important village records and budgets were not easily accessible to the government, to the public. I think that's important, so I changed it. Now, all financial information, including a check register, is posted regularly on East Dundee website. In a crowded field full of local officials, the March 15th primary is about substance, talk, versus action. Hey, nobody's perfect. I certainly haven't won every fight, but I'm the only conservative reformer in this race. And that's important. That's important because the problems that most local governments in Illinois face are not homegrown. They're the result of bad policies from bad politicians. We need to change the way Springfield works. We need to turn around Illinois. I want to leave you with just two simple thoughts. We need a state representative that's committed to turning the state around, not someone just interested in winning a new job. Being your state representative is not a birthright, your next step in public service. The whole state is at stake. Which candidate is going to fight Speaker Madigan? I've been doing it for years, and if elected, I'll charge up mountains to help Governor Rauner save our state. Also, being a good representative from the Fox River Valley and the suburbs starts with actually being from here. My grandfather worked as a janitor at Crystal Lake High School. My mother, a District 300 school teacher and director of Crystal Lake Head Start program. Local roots matter. I grew up in Crystal Lake in Algonquin before my wife Heather and I settled here in East Dundee. We attend church at Fox Valley Church off of Randall Road. We volunteer in local animal rescues. Local roots do matter. My name is Alan Skillicorn, the conservative reformer, and I hope to earn your vote and earn your vote. Let's shake up Illinois. Thank you.
Friends, this seat matters. It really does matter who we send down there. Who is going to fight for us when Mike Madigan tries to shift the $100 billion pension obligation back to local taxing districts? Who isn't going to compromise and give in? That man is Alan Skillicorn. He needs our help. Please keep fighting for him. Thanks for coming tonight.